You would think, ABC, having just paid $15 million for a defamation lawsuit, would think not to engage in conspiracy theories about assassination attempts, but I guess that's too much to ask from The View. I mean, I got to ask you, because they said it, are you aware of any plots from Elon Musk to push President Trump down the stairs?
Absolutely not. Let me be unequivocally clear about that.
What happens when Karoline Leavitt wakes up, flips the drama switch, and sues The View like it is her full-time job? Apparently, I'm financial ruin for the daytime divas. That is right. Karoline is back in the courtroom with a lawsuit so massive it could qualify as its own zip code. Could this be the final crystal-studded nail in The View's designer coffin? Is Joy Behar about to launch a side hustle knitting passive-aggressive pillows on Etsy just to cover the damages? Do not blink, because this TV takedown is messier than a wine fight at a Real Housewives reunion.
Leavitt appears to be a fierce operator, but she's also 27 and arguably quite glamorous. So of course, the kind and progressive voices at The View reacted to her appointment like this.
I think she's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
Karoline Leavitt just did the unthinkable again. She stormed into the bedazzled chaos of daytime TV, locked eyes with the loudest pack of professional interrupters on television, and sued the sequins right off their studio. Yes, again, because one courtroom clash clearly was not enough to convince The View's producers to stop courting controversy like it is a brand identity.
And watching this clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years. They likened President Trump to Hitler. They have mocked him. They have shamed him. They have lied about him consistently on their show.
If this breakdown has you hooked, hit that like button and subscribe. You do not want to miss what comes next. Turns out Karoline is not just breaking out in hives over media antics. She has practically made a career out of hauling it into court, with the kind of grip most people reserve for yanking their dog out of a mud puddle. And with this latest legal grenade, she may have finally done it. The View is not just rattled. It is teetering like a tipsy table at a reality show reunion.
And the abuse continued.
I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you talk about it and to hear anybody talk about the wokeness was put in place for a reason.
So what sparked this latest legal roundhouse from Karoline? Apparently, she hit her limit after once again being served as the daily special on The View's endless buffet of outrage. No air quotes needed. We all know the routine. 5 hosts, 2 coffee mugs, and a bottomless pit of polished condescension. But Karoline did not just rage scroll like the rest of us. She filed the paperwork. And this time, it is not a slap on the wrist. It is a lawsuit so massive it might show up on NASA's next satellite scan.
I mean, you'll deal with these kind of crazy questions from the White House podium. How do you plan to deal with it?
Yes, I absolutely will. I feel prepared to do that. I've been facing the media now, speaking on behalf of President Trump on the campaign trail for the past couple of years. And we are expecting the media to be hostile. However, Kaylee, if you do talk to a lot of these reporters off the record, they will tell you they look forward to more press transparency and access. And while we will expose the fake news when they are fake, we will hold them accountable for their lies and smears of President Trump. I can also assure the American people that they are going to be hearing directly from the leader of the free world.
Hey is where it gets delicious. This is not just about bruised feelings. It is about alleged defamation, character demolition, and what Karoline's legal team is calling a full-blown smear campaign disguised as coffee table chatter. Think of it as lighting a match inside a candle shop, then blaming the explosion on aromatherapy. According to insiders, Leavitt's lawsuit rests on a simple premise. If a nationally televised show keeps treating someone like a political pinata, do not be surprised when the pinata swings back. While the hosts think they are dishing out snarky banter, her legal team sees it as a hit piece in high definition sprinkled between content tutorials and sponsor plugs. But here's the genius. She is not shouting into the void. She is lawyering up with the precision of someone who has every frame timestamped and every insult cross-referenced in a binder. And she is not just targeting the hosts. She is coming for the entire machine. If The View were a house, Karoline's lawsuit would name the carpet, the chandelier, and the poor intern who orders the lukewarm croissants. Financially, this is not a drill. Word is ABC's accounting department is breaking into cold sweats, haunted by déjà vu from the last courtroom clash. Legal costs are sky high. Insurance rates have punched into orbit. Behind the scenes, producers are whispering the word settlement like it is a cursed spell.
Many of you in the media clearly missed the art of the deal. You clearly failed to see what President Trump is doing here. You tried to say that the rest of the world would be moved closer to China when in fact we've seen the opposite effect. The entire world is calling the United States of America, not China, because they need our markets, they need our consumers, and they need this president in the Oval Office to talk to them. And that's exactly why more than 75 countries have called, because the United States of America is the best place in the world to do business. And as the president has shown great courage, as the secretary has said, in choosing to retaliate against China even higher.
Backstage, it is a completely different show. Staffers are reportedly tiptoeing through the studio like they are dodging subpoenas instead of camera cards. Morale. Picture a glitter bomb detonating during a tax audit. Joy might still be cracking jokes on air, but behind the scenes, budget cuts are hitting harder than her punchlines. Promo shoots are vanishing. Guest appearances are quietly evaporating. Even the snack table, rumor has it, has gone from lavish to bring your own granola bar. Meanwhile, Karoline Leavitt is thriving. She has turned this legal roller coaster into a political stage play, so precise it makes Shakespeare look like improved night at a dive bar. In conservative circles, she has become the icon who brought the cackling colossus to its knees with nothing but court filings and steely calm. No shouting. Oh, just devastatingly composed legal arguments. But do not mistake this for a PR stunt. It is a financial siege. Her team is not just demanding damages. They are compiling a case that allegedly exposes a long, calculated campaign of on-air character sabotage, all dressed up as daytime fun. If it sticks, the payout would not just sting, it could hollow out the show's entire financial foundation. And while the network puts on a brave face, insiders say it is all smoke and mirrors. Legal teams are on high alert. PR is on full meltdown, and advertisers, a few are already eyeing the exits, nervously clutching their marketing budgets like a lifeboat.
First of all, the Democrat Party has gone woke, and now they have gone broke. They have their lowest approval ratings ever, and they are rallying around two of the most far-left leaders in their party, AOC and Jasmine Crockett. So that tells you the current state of the Democrat Party.
Apparently, some brands were not thrilled to discover they had been sponsoring what might soon become Exhibit A in a headline-grabbing courtroom brawl. And here's where it gets juicy. While The View scrambles to plug the leaks, Karoline's social media is absolutely blowing up. Every fresh court document is a content gold mine. More clicks, more likes, more donations. She has evolved from a news subject into a full-on headline machine fueled by legal drama and iced coffee. Conservative commentators are already calling her the future of media warfare, not by yelling into cameras, but by dragging them into court. While others ran on podcasts, Karoline is dropping court filings like precision strikes, fewer hot takes, more cease and desist letters, and ratings not breaking any records. Lines, with the lawsuit looming and backstage mood one shade short of panic, viewers are switching off. The show now feels less like a cultural staple and more like a PR liability. Sponsorships that once flowed freely are drying up because no brand wants its logo beside a potential defamation claim. That is not exactly the pitch that moves mascara and yoga mats. One insider joked that the next sponsor might just be a law firm. Meanwhile, Karoline is not easing off the gas. Word is her team is combing through old footage, building what could become a growing series of lawsuits. If The View thought this was a one-and-done situation, they might want to start binging their own reruns and with a lawyer.
Know that you're walking into hostile territory, right?
Certainly do. And look, I think I'm well prepared for that. And I'm incredibly honored that President Trump has instilled confidence in me to speak on his behalf behind the White House podium. It's been an honor to have a front row seat to the greatest political comeback in history. And as you mentioned in your monologue, Sean, President Trump is putting together a brilliant cabinet of fantastic America First fighters, from Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, who are going to cut the waste out of our federal bureaucracy, to Susie Wiles, who is going to serve as the first female chief of staff in history. Take that, Mark Cuban, to Tom Homan. No one better to secure the border than him.
The mission, a full reckoning with what she calls the mean girls and makeup empire of television. And if Karoline Leavitt wins, the word cancelled might get a serious upgrade. If the court awards even a fraction of what her team is demanding, The View could be staring down a future with fewer hosts, fewer sponsors, and far fewer chances to hurl insults without someone dialing their attorney. Here's the twist. Leavitt has perfected the double identity. Villain in one world, icon in another. To The View's loyalists, she is the political boogeyman. To her own crowd, she is a folk hero armed with legal briefs and fearless resolve. It is not just controversy. It is branding. She is not dodging the drama. She is packaging it, selling it, and cashing in. And if anyone thinks this is about ego, think again. Every lawsuit is a campaign ad. Biden, every legal win is a poll boost. She is not just building a public persona. She is assembling a political resume that screams less pundit and more precision force in heels. While The View clings to PR spin and hopes for clear skies, Karoline is already scanning the horizon for the next storm. This is not just about one bad segment. It is about dismantling what she sees as a decades-old institution that has weaponized gossip under the flattering glow of studio lights.
I think it's insulting that you are trying to test my knowledge of economics and the decisions that this president has made. I'm now regret giving a question to the Associated Press. You're asking me for what the president's justification is for these tariffs. It's not up to you. You're not the president, Gabe.
To hire a spokesperson just so that Elon Musk doesn't put out tweets that then confuse federal workers.
Are my press briefings not good enough for you, Jack?
Karoline Leavitt did not just file a lawsuit. She launched a full political brand. Courtrooms are now her stage. Depositions are her content drops with overhead lighting and legal flair. Each court date plays like a new episode in the Karoline cinematic universe, complete with Reggie-tinted headlines and a social media presence built around coffee, contempt, and constitutional fireworks. And it is working. Her follower count is rising faster than rent, engagement through the roof, and her donation link getting more clicks than The View's applause track. Forget traditional ads. Karoline is the viral sensation playing both crusader and casualty, litigating her way into the hearts of every conservative viewer with Wi-Fi and an opinion. Conservative media is feasting on. She has already been elevated to icon status, a fearless voice leading the charge against media theatrics armed with court filings and a highlight filter. And the scariest part for her critics, she has not raised her voice once. The lawsuits are doing all the shouting.
If you heard that type of violent, enticing rhetoric from our side of the aisle, from Republican leaders on Capitol Hill, I think there would be a lot more outrage in this room today. It's unacceptable, the comments that have been made by these Democrat leaders, and frankly, they don't even know what they're talking about. Because President Trump was elected with a mandate from the American people to make this government more efficient. He campaigned across this country with Elon Musk, vowing that Elon was going to head up the Department of Government Efficiency, and the two of them, with a great team around them, were going to look at the receipts.
This is where the tables flip, and not in the fun reality show reunion kind of way. Usually, it is The View turning someone into a viral roast, inflaming reputations like marshmallows at a bonfire. But now they are the ones trending, not for sass or sound bites, but for spiraling liability and a legal firestorm they cannot meme their way out of. Karoline did not just change the game. She rewrote the rules. She is not angry at the media. She is Monetizing it, packaging the outrage, tagging it, and shipping it out like primetime content. What once was a response is now a business model. And the media, they are the product. Back at The View, the glitter is fading fast, dropping ratings, nervous applause, and sponsors sweating like they are hooked up to a lie detector. The recipe for a slow-motion collapse is complete. Oh, as even devoted fans are picking up on the shift. What once felt sharp and fiery now sounds rehearsed and hollow. The banter is brittle, the laughs are thinner, and the forced chew remarkably hard to sparkle while hemorrhaging legal fees. Rumors of host shakeups and production pauses are growing louder. ABC executives are doing the math, calculating how much longer they can prop this up before quietly pulling the plug and calling it a rebrand. And Karoline, she is not easing up. Word is her legal team has enough binders to open a satellite office, combing every frame for fresh firepower. If The View so much as side-eyes the wrong headline, she is ready to file faster than anyone can say reckless defamation. Insiders say this is just phase one. Karoline is going after the entire media landscape methodically and without mercy on. She has converted court filings into currency, visibility, and cultural leverage. If The View was the first to get scorched, it will certainly not be the last. The slow-motion implosion is not coming from viewer complaints or rating slides. It is coming from one sharp, determined woman who decided that if she could not outshout the media, she would sue it until it had nothing left to say above a whisper. To some, it is excessive. To her followers, it is revolutionary. This is not a PR stunt, and it is a manual for a new kind of warfare. One that trades debate for depositions and replaces clapbacks with court dates. And The View is learning that lesson the hard way. Karoline is not backing down, but the show, at this rate, it is heading towards syndication limbo, or worse, a permanent slot in the daytime graveyard, but right beside forgotten talk shows and late-night infomercials. The poetry of it all. The loudest show on television, silenced, not by outrage or audience apathy, but by a stack of subpoenas and one woman who decided the punchline stops. Hey, call it karma, call it a reckoning, call it Karoline with a capital L for lawsuit. And with that, the only question left for The View might just be, does anyone know a good bankruptcy lawyer? Preferably one with a sense of humor, because Karoline Leavitt just flipped the table, and this time the joke is entirely on